I've failed already. Another week where I began the show by saying the word "well," like I'm a slightly more.
Well,
Well, I'm not as
oh, for Christ's sake.
I'm not as bad as Reagan was, but maybe. I don't know. But anyway, it's HIAC Talk Radio, the new era, which is really returning to the old era mixed with the new era. I'm Dan Calchico, Dan Lowry 3. Mark, Go Thompson on Twitter. Craig Lagans at, I know it's hard to remember, Craig Lagans. It's real hard. We'll go over that, all that stuff at the end of the show. VOCNation.com. If you're on a smartphone, go to your podcast app. This is going to be a banger. This is how the day's already gone. Go to your podcast. Yeah, go to your podcast app and type in VOC Nation Radio Network. With that being said, this past weekend, which I forgot it was this past weekend, that's how the days have gone, was AEW Full Gear. And let me just start off the conversation by saying this. And it's ironic because I was having this conversation on Twitter with a bunch of friends in the first place. So it's interesting you brought this up. I don't watch AEW for any of the elite guys. I don't give a damn about the Young Bucks. I don't care about Cody.
Okay.
I don't care about Kenny Omega.
Keep going. Yep.
I don't care about Darby Allin, which we will talk about in a little while.
Come on. I'm super excited about this.
I do care about Eddie Kingston. I like Eddie Kingston.
I was so excited that Eddie Kingston got a world title shot.
Yeah, I love Eddie.
Totally worth it.
I love Hangman Page, but the rest of the main cast.
Hangman Page is the most undervalued professional wrestler in wrestling.
Craig, do you agree or disagree?
Well, that's how you do it well. If you're gonna start a well in a pro wrestling podcast, you don't do a well, Reagan. You do a well. Yes. Adam Page. Well, Adam Page is. I also feel the same way about Shawn Spears and Ricky Starks. Honestly, Ricky Starks should be a main.
Dude, I fell in love with Ricky Starks in NWA.
Yeah.
The TV title, his thing with my boy Zicky Dice. Whoo!
Yeah. But I watch AEW. I'm like you, Dan. I don't care about the wrestlers you just mentioned either. I care about the guys that have a star-making vehicle on a national primetime wrestling show that aren't getting the attention or the angles or the matches that they deserve.
I'm going to throw this out there real quick. AEW Dark has actually some of my favorite wrestlers on it right now.
Absolutely.
Brian Pillman Jr. And that other blonde dude. They're like the new Hollywood blondes. Super duper love. Serpentico and Luther are Project Chaos now. I didn't love Luther. They brought him in. They dropped the ball on it completely. And I feel like those two together are just pure magic. And here they are. They're just on AEW Dark. They're just some botch team they have there. But I feel like if you put the money behind them, it's going to be magic. It's going to be absolute gold. And it'll be a homebred team. And once again, don't my favorite tag team in years is whatever FTR now, whatever they
I think they're just called FTR. I don't really.
Yeah. And
whatever the Revolt or whatever nonsense they are, but I just really love them. Like, and you can hate me for it. Everyone hates me for it.
Why?
It's fun.
Wait, who has a problem with the revival?
Everyone that loves the Young Bucks, clearly.
Oh,
my God!
Because I'm not a Young Bucks guy. Like,
no pure wrestling fan should be a Young Bucks guy. Because the Young Bucks are everything that's wrong with tag team wrestling, and the reason why I'm glad we're getting the AEW Solid Snake pay-per-view out of the way first.
Metal Gear Solid, baby.
Because I wasn't going to pay $50 for it. I was going to find out what happened on via social media.
No.
The fact that FTR didn't retain their belt. You have a dream match. They're billing it a dream match, even though it wasn't. For internet wrestling trolls, it was a dream match. Young Bucks versus FTR. But for FTR not to go over was the single worst thing. And that's happened in wrestling this year, and I'm including the pandemic because that should never have happened.
I
At all.
love that this is pandemic level bad.
Yes, because there's now FTR are just another tag team on AEW. Now it seems like no one can stop the almighty Young Bucks. And I knew this was the plan going from a year ago when they had to crown all their first champions. Omega didn't get a belt. The Young Bucks didn't get a belt. So this is the idea is to have all the elite have the belts, and they didn't have it for a year. So now all the elite will have belts, and when Kenny Omega goes over Moxley somewhere maybe before the end of the year or kind of get to the AEW first anniversary, all the elite will have the belts, which is what their whole grand design was from the beginning. Which is what pisses me off about AEW right now.
So okay, you guys both not Young Bucks fans.
No,
but
I like the Young Bucks. I don't think they're the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I'm not allowed to think that.
That's fine. I understand exactly where you're coming from. There's allowed to be a middle on them. Lucha Brothers, though, is something I want to know because I feel like they're something different than what the Young Bucks are compared to.
Yeah, I'll tell you why Lucha Brothers are awesome, because the Lucha Brothers are what a lot of people fell in love with on Monday nights during the golden era of the Monday Night Wars was the luchadors at the beginning of the first hour.
Kind of what I thought.
That's just my opinion. Let me just clear it up about the Young Bucks. They're fine. They're good wrestlers. They're not this word elite. First of all, I think All Elite Wrestling is a dumb company name. But when people are like, "Well, what else would you call it?" I have no idea. So,
best friends wrestling.
Best friend. Oh yes, of course. But I'm just talking about as a wrestling company name. I just think it's a stupid name. This elite thing is subjective.
Best friends.
The best friend. Now, I say the elite thing is subjective. They're absolutely allowed, and I guess have claimed the right to call themselves elite. I'm not going to argue with it. Craig, you can argue with it in a second. Hold on, I want you to.
Stop. I can't get over the merchandising product that we just made with BFW T-shirts.
Yeah, Best Friends Wrestling. No, I'm watching the Butcher and the Blade and Bunny versus the Naturals, Dustin Rhodes and what's his name?
Apple God.
Yep.
This is what I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
You want to watch Apple versus?
No, I just like Butcher and the Blade and Bunny. Alley
that dude's from an awesome metal band, by the way.
Yes, he is. Matt, who does Matt's the one that told me he knows the guy. He's my friend Matt, who's originally from the Poconos. He's from our area. He grew up really around us.
I think it's Every Time I Die.
I believe you're correct. I'll actually talk to him about it because he streams with us on Thursdays now, and I'll ask him because he'll remember who he is. He was trying to tell me who he is because he didn't remember his wrestling name. I was like, "Is it this guy?" He goes, "Oh yeah, that's him." Oh.
I used to do the metal show at Rowan, and I got a free Every Time I Die T-shirt one time, and he always holds a close place to my heart because I had a free T-shirt.
Well, listen, I think very nicely of people who give me free shirts.
If you give me free stuff, I'm probably going to like you a little more.
That's
give me free stuff. Give me free stuff, baby.
Hell yeah. No, the match was okay, but in no world, just to bring it back on track, I can't believe I'm the one doing that. In no world are the Young Bucks winning against the Revival. I don't get it.
I know.
No.
But the people we mentioned last week and the people we mentioned this week, this is why I try to watch AEW. I don't give a shit about the elite part of All Elite Wrestling. I don't care. This is just my personal opinion. I am not sitting here and saying, F you if you disagree, or F you if that's what you like. I'm just talking about me.
So I do want to talk about. Are we running through the whole card?
I don't want to do whole card things, but just mention what pops on your head, man.
I just want to mention I have two things I want to mention, but I don't want to cut you guys off before if you guys have anything else you want to say.
Did you want to, Craig, your comment about I think the Young Bucks are fine. I know you had something to add to that.
No, the Young Bucks, if you like that kind of thing, those are the kind of things those people like. And the Young Bucks have never been my cup of tea. I just think they're a bunch of acrobats. They don't sell for anything, for anyone that they don't like. If you've seen one Young Bucks match, you've seen them all. And the fact that they had to go 30 minutes with FTR was really a travesty because there's no reason that match had to go 30 minutes. They had to kick out of everything, and they kick out of everything that FTR has. The vintage double team moves from some of the greatest tag teams of all time. They kick out everything, yet they win with a single super kick. That's it. That's all it takes to beat the best tag team in the world.
By the way, they've hit that super kick 75 times earlier in the match.
Yeah. So So one more is just not gonna. It's gonna be straight. So I'm sick to death of them. And my last AEW point, and I'll turn it over to you guys. Has anyone ever seen Private Party and the Street Profits together at the same place at the same time?
No. No, I'm glad you said it.
It's always bugged me, and it will continue to bug me until I see those two tag teams in the same place at the same time, because you cannot tell me that there's any difference.
Is it a conspiracy theory? You think the same people?
It's a conspiracy. Yes.
One clearly makes reference to the drinking. The other hides it in red cups.
Yeah. But still, I've never seen them both at the same place at the same time. So
it's funny you mentioned that. I find it odd with all the other references to the WWE get away with that drinking is a problem.
Yet still Stone Cold will come out and drink as many beers as he wants with Becky Lynch, who was pregnant.
No, I mean, she wasn't drinking that I know of when she was pregnant, so.
I don't know.
I'll allow it.
Just put it out there.
Mark, take over. What's next point about Full Gear? I just want to put this out here before you go. I was on board with the show. I watched most of it, and I tuned out at the main event.
I didn't watch. I watched like highlights of it, and I watched a bunch of people talk about it. I'm glad Eddie Kingston was in it. I really feel like he deserved a push. He's a great wrestler. I feel like he's vastly underrated. I feel like he really got to show how great Eddie Kingston was in that match. And it's kind of a shame that he didn't get the win. I know that you can't just let Eddie Kingston beat Jon Moxley, who's the face of your company now. I get it. It's fine.
Is it?
I get it.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is fine for you, though.
It's not fine for me, but like it's fine for everyone else that's is drinking the AEW Kool-Aid.
Of all the people that have been brought up to AEW and WWE and NW when everything was active, that Eddie Kingston was not at one of the big two is, I mean, okay,
know,
big
He's so
three.
Good on the mic.
You know that Eddie Kingston's never going to be a WWE guy, ever.
No,
but
he's perfect for stupid weirdo AEW.
Yeah, because AEW caters. Yeah, because AEW caters to the indie crowd and guys that wrestled in the indies and there were indie darlings, and Eddie is perfect for that because he's great he's probably the best person on the mic in either company. Because anytime Eddie Kingston's got a mic, I'm listening to him because the way he talks, even the way he looks, he doesn't look like he's a legitimate badass tough guy.
Other than MJF, he is the best guy on the mic in that company.
Yeah, he is. Other than that, and now MJF has fallen off because again they don't let him do what MJF should be doing.
I was going to get to that in a little while. I was going to bring that up after Mark brought up his points. No, I was agreeing with you. I wanted to say that. Go ahead, Mark.
All right. Well, I do have an MJF theory, but I'll get to that, I guess, when you bring it up.
Well, then bring it up. Since we're here, we're at the same road together. Let's bring it up.
So my theory is this whole MJF getting into the inner circle is that they're trying to now play the card. Well, we don't have enough faces. Jericho will get kicked out of the inner circle. Jericho's face.
Craig, you should take that one.
Yeah, that's pretty much where it's going because one of the things that I can't stand about AEW is they just heel versus heel. You know, there's no faces. I mean, the you bring back to FDR, you bring them in as the number one heel team in the company, and then the Young Bucks turn heel. So like, so which one is a babyface tag team?
Yeah, and the elite, the faces.
Yeah,
Cody's the face, right?
and you have the
Or
two
is
biggest
Darby
heels.
Allin the face?
And Kobe,
Not
Cody,
Kobe.
who is a face everywhere but inside the ring. He's a heel in the ring, but he's a face before and after the match. And MJF and Jericho, the two biggest heels in your company, and you have them going up against each other. So you're forcing the fans to choose. So, obviously they want to. I see that where they're going, that MJF becomes the head of the family and Jericho's out. And now you're making Jericho a face. I mean, people are already coming out singing his theme song. I mean, heels and faces together, which kind of blurs the line. It's kind of stupid to begin with. So I guess they're going to turn him full face. But MJF, the biggest heel, if you wanted to make him the biggest heel in the company, there's better ways of doing that than having him go up against the other biggest heel in the company.
My dream was that MJF would start his own faction and take FTR, and then you'd get one other person. I don't know, maybe Shawn Spears. And then you'd make yourself a bad Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
I would rather have that.
But I just think that AEW just has too many stables to begin with.
That's all they do. That's all they do.
Elite, you got Jericho's, you got the Butcher and Blade and the Eddie Kingston's people. It's like everyone's got to be in some. You have Team Taz. Everyone's got to be everyone's got to be in a group of some sort.
MJF. There's two things that. Again, this is just how I feel. This is my opinion. There's two things AEW had at the very beginning that was given to them on the silver platter. There was Nyla Rose.
Yep.
And there was MJF.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, I don't care what anybody else says. I feel this. Nyla Rose should have run through the entire women's division.
Yeah, she should still be the women's. She should still be the women's champion. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
End of discussion. There's nothing you can do. Even kayfabe should have been rolling over every woman in that company.
Mm-hmm.
MJF.
Drop the ball.
Yeah. Yes, drop the ball. MJF from day one should have been the top heel in that company.
Yeah.
And if you want to argue his ability in the ring, which I don't think there really is, I think he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Then you throw in a faction or Wardlow that can fight for him like Diesel and Shawn Michaels. Yes, I am putting MJF up there with Shawn Michaels because MJF is that good, better than Shawn Michaels ever was on the mic, better than a lot of guys were ever on the mic. And you drop the ball from the word go.
Yes.
I'll put him. Your guy, and you might just kill me for this, but he's close. He, by the end of his career, you'll look at him as like a Roddy Piper.
I said that said that from the first time I was on the show.
It, yeah.
Like he's this generation's Roddy Piper.
Right now, this is why this guy doesn't need a championship. He makes his own heat. It's just like back in the 80s. Like, you don't have to put a belt on someone that's this good.
Instead, they have him singing show tunes, which was fine with me because I like a show tune. I thought it was hysterical. But the other side of that, instead of being this badass, pain-in-the-ass piece of shit person,
now he's
MJF he's singing show tunes with Jericho.
They were dropping the ball on him way before that because when you have an MJF, he, like Roddy Piper, he needs to be on TV every week. If he's not wrestling, give him a 2 minutes with the mic. Talk about whatever he wants. You don't have to give him your own show, but have him go over guys in 5 minutes, 2 minutes. Every week he doesn't wrestle, have him on the mic.
And you do it in the most Weasley chicken shit way, like Seth Rollins was doing with Triple H, and multiply it by 8. That you can. You have him weasel that way. I don't mean to disrespect the word weasel because MJF's not a problem here in this conversation. You just have him be the crappiest, greasiest, most disgusting, vile heel ever. There's a lot of people I want to see Jericho singing songs with on wrestling, and MJF's not one of them. I knew that was not going to go the way it should have been, air quotes, when they had him be the face and trick him and turn. I was like, that's still not right. It's still not right.
Horrendous. Just awful.
I agree.
Real quick, Craig, I just want you just to say it real quick
Sure.
that you hated the Matt Hardy match.
I skipped the Matt Hardy match, and no, I won't have anything to do with
That's all I
that
wanted.
feud. No, I hate it. Matt Hardy.
I didn't want anything else. That's all I just wanted you to say.
You got it. I'm as much as we were talking about guys that we like in AEW.
I love Matt Hardy.
Sam, I loved past tense Matt Hardy, the Matt Hardy from 10 years ago. The Matt Hardy right now should not even be in the ring. And as much as I like Sammy Guevara, one of the guys that we talked about,
I love Sammy
great,
Guevara.
Can be great, and can be a future superstar, that he still needs a receipt from that chair shot on Matt. That was just effing ridiculous. And it was uncalled for. It was unwarranted. And it's useless. And their whole feud is useless. There's other way you can get Sammy Guevara ahead without on the backs of Matt Hardy. As much as I was again, will tell you, a huge Hurricane Helms mark, and great to see him back. But at the same time, that it doesn't need to be necessary. The other thing, my last AEW point, because I can go off. I know we're trying to keep this podcast in under an hour, but the amount of things that are wrong with AEW will cost more than, last more than that.
One thing that's going to totally infuriate you guys, so just wait.
Because the people that they had, we talked about, Dan, that the people that they had given to them on a silver platter, namely MJF and Nyla Rose. You also have 4 of the best talkers in the history of professional wrestling, and they're invisible every single goddamn week. You have Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard and Jake Roberts and Taz. You have them talking for their wrestlers, yet they come out and then they disappear. Why is Tully Blanchard with FTR? Why was he banned from ringside? Just have him come out and then leave. Then have him buy a ticket and come in and cause some interference. Why is Arn Anderson, who was and Cody is no slouch on the mic, but Arn Anderson can talk circles around anybody. Why isn't Arn Anderson giving all the interviews for Cody, or talking about before or after the match? Why are these guys that you got for a reason? And don't get me wrong, if Tony Khan wanted to throw a whole bushel of money at me, I'd come out there and say nothing and walk away too. But if you want to sell a wrestling promotion with 4 of the greatest wrestlers of all time, 4 of the greatest talkers of all time in professional wrestling, why are these guys invisible? And that's my last AEW point. Until my next one.
It's not until I make this one.
Oh God! Don't antagonize him. It does baffle me. And just if you're new to this show and think we're AEW bashing, next week we can spend some time on WWE and spend probably twice as long at the things they're doing.
No. There's, like I said, I love a lot of AEW stuff.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of things in AEW that I really love.
The women's championship match. Other than the outcome of the women's championship match, which I just mentioned, why?
I didn't watch the second women's championship match. I only watched the first one.
It was great. Real women's championship. Great match. Both matches were great.
Deebs.
Yeah, Deeb.
Serena.
Thank you.
Back on WWE.
Yeah.
What was her gimmick back in WWE?
She was part of the Straight Edge Society with CM Punk.
She's going after her head shaved.
She shaved her head.
Yeah,
Serena Deeb should.
I'm so glad she worked out, though. Aren't you?
Yeah, but like it doesn't. I don't. Again, somebody that should be at the forefront, not a challenger. Not a challenge. She's not a challenger. I don't understand that.
It's okay. You know what? I'm glad that NWA titles are getting a shot on AEW. Now, my dream is that the next pay-per-view, we get to see the real world champion, Nick Aldis.
Nick Aldis is a great... listen.
I'm saying this
one of the best matches I've ever seen was at Nova Pro, and it was Isaiah Frazier versus the NWA champion for the NWA title, Nick Aldis, and the match was fantastic. I said it before, and huh?
I think Nick Aldis is brilliant.
I just want to say this also. I've said it before, and I'll say it again now that you're back on the show. When that NWA World's title is in the building, I know people are like, NWA is irrelevant. Nah, man. When that title's still in the building, you're still like, man,
it's cool.
That's the title. WWE, AEW. That's the title. Yeah, the one Dusty had, Rick had, Steamboat was world champion.
Yeah, the one Harley Race had.
The one Lou
Fez had.
Magnum TA have it? He had it.
No,
US.
He should have.
He should have. I think that was the one that David Von Erich should have had.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead. Go your final point.
AEW. The last AEW pipe bomb.
Go for it.
Darby Allin's the new Sting.
I'm getting out of this room right now.
Those fighting words. Them's fighting words.
I'm getting out.
You're welcome. You're welcome, America.
Go fuck yourself. I'm leaving.
No. The kids dress up as them for Halloween.
Yeah.
I'm putting
marketable as all get out. He rides a skateboard. Who doesn't love skateboards when they're a kid?
Go. Darby Allin is no more the next Sting because they both wear paint than Matt Riddle is next Kevin Von Erich because they both wrestle barefoot. That's not how it works. Darby Allin is not the next Sting. He's barely even the next Great Muta.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, I wish someone was the next Great Muta, but
yeah, I do too. But it ain't Darby Allin.
Muta's still Muta.
Yeah.
No. But I'm telling you right now, if AEW knows what they're doing, they will just milk this cash cow for everything that it's worth.
If Darby Allin knows what he's doing, he'll stop doing stupid stuff like jumping off bridges or getting into body bags with thumbtacks and risk injuring himself trying to prove how death-defying he is, and just, I don't know, maybe wrestle.
No,
how about that?
Wrestling's not about wrestling when you're that guy. Stop.
No. Okay. Well, I wish you would stop.
It's more about painting kids' faces.
So stupid.
There's a face painting booth at the beginning of every AEW show, I assume.
Yeah, so I'm not going
to comment on the face painting thing.
Do you want to be Spider-Man or do you want to be Darby Allin?
No, I want to be Sting. Get out of here, Darby.
Nope, sorry, Darby Allin it is. That's all you get. There's only Darby Allin.
So let's talk about
white and black.
Let's talk about things we like about AEW.
Okay. I told you.
Say it again.
Brian Pillman Jr. Project Chaos. The Revolt. Tully Blanchard. Who else do I like? I don't love Kenny Omega.
No, I said like. That's a not like.
I don't like him. That's a thing I like. I like not liking Kenny Omega.
All right, I'll give you that one.
I like Hangman Page.
I just want to double down on what you said earlier, Craig.
Underrated.
Underrated, should be the champion, but it's Jon Moxley, so he's not the champion. Is that what's holding him back, Craig?
I think what they're going to do with Page, and I don't know why they're saddling him with this drunk gimmick that he's got to have a drink everywhere he goes and everything like that. He is the single best singles wrestler or best face on the that they have on the card. Who checks all the boxes, looks great, great body, great athleticism, can do everything in the ring. What I'm afraid they're going to do is after they give Kenny the belt over Moxley, and Adam Page is going to take it from him, hopefully. But I'm afraid they're going to do it like after he's lost to Omega, he's going to stop drinking and go sober, and that's what's going to give him the major push.
Oh, and that'll be the storyline, right?
Yes. So that's my fear. Like, I don't know why he just can't be Hangman Adam Page, or I don't know why they saddled him with this.
Cowboys that shots and clotheslines things.
Yeah, I don't know just why they saddled him with the drinking gimmick anyway, but that's
I did like when he made someone hold his beer, and then he buckshotted the lariat over the top and beat someone. It was an amazing hold my beer moment. It was just, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're not a drinker, right? It's okay. It's fine.
How do we feel a year later about Chris Jericho? Go ahead, Craig.
I felt the same way I did about Chris Jericho. Happy belated 50th birthday to Chris Jericho. And if I'm saying happy belated 50th birthday to a current wrestler, if you're not Lou Thesz, you really shouldn't be doing that anymore. His body obviously shows that he shouldn't be doing it anymore. I think if his job is just to get guys over, I think he's doing a lousy job of it. I don't know why you're Chris Jericho, you've got the most main event, national, mainstream status, influence of anyone there. Why you would use that towards an Orange Cassidy or someone who's other than that, or even if you're using it against MJF, when you're still a heel, I don't get it. If you now I've always had a soft spot for Jericho. He's one of my favorites. If I'm putting my top 10 WWE superstars, will always include Chris Jericho and not The Undertaker, because that's how good Jericho is and how bad The Undertaker is. I just think he's doing himself a disservice right now every time he goes out to wrestle. Really? Him and Matt Hardy. I don't think they're doing themselves any favors by continually getting in the ring.
Well, Matt Hardy, I think I agree with you with, but I think they're just both cashing a check.
Yeah, everyone in AEW is cashing checks. I mean, if Tony Khan's going to write them for you, of course they'll take it, and that's what Jericho's doing. Everything that Jericho is doing now, I'm sure he's having the time of his life, because all the stuff he's doing, the ballroom dancing, the football stadium frenzy stuff.
This is all the stuff he probably pitched to WCW.
And they said no. Right. And even if he didn't pitch it then, now it's like they have no booker. They have no one guy that has the final say so, because Jericho books his matches, Cody books his matches, the Young Bucks book their matches. There's no final guy. So if Jericho says, "Hey, I want you to dump me in some champagne or orange juice," of course they're going to go for it, and he wants to do it. That's what I'm saying. He's doing himself a disservice. But it doesn't matter what I think, because he's having the time of his life and cashing big money paychecks to do it. So having said all that, I don't have any opinion towards Chris Jericho in AEW. Is no longer a professional wrestler. He's strictly a performer.
Wow. All right.
We're not going to fight now, are we?
No, I'm not poking that bear. Not after that time. I mean, I can go into all the Jericho things that I think, but man,
what do you think?
Once again, I think part of me thinks he's doing what's best for the company. I think that's what he honestly, when you look at him and he goes and he wins the world championship, he's the only name you have on the bill that people know nationally, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he wins the world championship. So you're waiting for Moxley to get there. Then you've got Dean Ambrose, he's coming hot off the Shield reunion. People love that. So now you've got your wrestling fans back in. You've got your casual fans in. You've got your weirdo Japanese fans in, because those people are just maybe the most intolerable wrestling fans around, because they just expect this totally different breed of wrestling, and they're like part AEW fans. But I don't know, Jericho's not that guy. When I watched Jericho wrestle over in Japan, Jericho wasn't putting on New Japan Pro Wrestling matches, right? Mm-hmm. Everywhere that Jericho goes, Jericho does what Jericho does.
I did enjoy everything he was doing in New Japan, though.
I thought it was amazing.
I really thought it was really good.
Just another level of Jericho proving that Jericho is the best, a transcendent wrestler in the history of the world. Okay, we can talk about. I'm gonna get picked on about this all the time, talking about how reinventive Chris Jericho is.
Just do it, man.
There's certain wrestlers that you can't just move to New Japan Pro Wrestling and will be transcendent and will still win a title and be awesome. Do you know what I'm saying? And then there's certain wrestlers that were in Japan that you move to the U.S. are just garbage.
I just remembered you and Dean having this conversation about Jericho on your page.
Boulder Dash. Sold it for $6.
I had a reply written, and I was like, never mind, because I was like, well, you should go discuss this on the show. But
I thought he'd be here. I thought he'd show up and say, "What are you, out of your mind?" Once again, I will throw down the gauntlet to Dean. Anytime he wants to show up and tell me how wrong I am about Chris Jericho, he's more than welcome to tell me I'm an idiot.
Oh, that's so funny. That was so funny. And you know what? It's funny. I'm wearing the Jericho shirt, and I'm about to go, well, but I'm just going to keep it to myself. I'll just say it like this.
No.
It's real hard for me to try to hate Jericho.
Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm too far in the forest to see the trees.
I don't disagree with what you're saying.
Like, I'm too far in the Jericho forest to see the trees. Like, I was friends with this guy. He loved Bret Hart. But he's like too far in the Bret Hart forest to see the trees. Like, there were some bad WCW Bret Hart times. Like, we all have to just own up to that.
Yeah,
NWO,
and that wasn't his fault.
NWO Bret Hart.
Name one.
And NWO Bret Hart.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be that guy in the forest for Brett, sir.
But you're in the woods, though. You can't help it. You're like, oh my God, I love the silver and black. Give me more.
Oh, wait a minute. You mean
You
mean the NWO 99, 2000?
I love the silver and black when he was teamed up with Jeff Jarrett. Yum, yum, yum.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Because
I thought you meant the 90s. I thought you meant the stuff in the 90s with him and the Wolfpack, because I was...
No. That was a Bret Hart era with the silver and black.
No, I remember. Oh, I remember it, because it was...
And now all of a sudden you're like, shit.
Whenever somebody mentions the NWO Silver and Black, the one thing that pops in my head immediately is the night that it happened. On the Nitro that, the band is back together. They're in the ring, and closest to the, they're all there. It's Scotty, it's Jeff, it's the Harris brothers. What the hell they were doing there, but whatever. I was never a Harris brothers guy, no matter what they were called. Didn't understand why they're there. Didn't understand why they were on TV. But there's Brett and Kevin closest to the camera, and they're yelling they're just staring at the audience. And all of a sudden, Brett starts yelling "F off," and then Nash gets into this whoever they're yelling at. Nash gets, he gets Nash's attention, and Nash says something, and you can see Nash listen to the reply. He goes, "You motherfucker," and he gets out of the ring, and I'm like, I really need to know if that guy died that night.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if Kevin is a wrestler or not. He will kill a dude.
Well, he had Brett, who is a guy who could kill you, coming after him, and Nash, who was a bouncer. He killed him. I was like, did that guy get out alive? I think he's dead. I never found out.
Buried him in that arena.
Gentlemen, I think, believe it or not, if my memory serves me correctly, I believe that was the Astrodome. And we don't want to talk about the amount of people that were at a Nitro and Astrodome in 1999, 2000. Because it certainly wasn't 60,000 or 20. No. Gentlemen, is there anything else of modern wrestling you'd like to talk about? Craig, is there anything you wanted to mention before we... stop.
Yes. Randy Orton should not be the WWE champion.
Oh,
right. That's a correct statement.
Do go on.
Why? I said this the last time Randy Orton was champion. That was 5 years ago when he briefly joined the Wyatt family.
Last time he stole the belt from Bray Wyatt? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, when he won the Royal Rumble and then he won a championship. Again, for what? Why? What purpose do you have to put the belt on Randy Orton again? You have Drew McIntyre. Keep the belt on the guy till you get a crowd back. Then beating him will be a big deal. But you give it to Randy again? Again. For what? Who is Randy Orton going to attract to get more people to watch? Kim. No one.
You ready? I'm gonna quote a famous man. I'm gonna do his impression. Just imagine I'm Vince McMahon. Just look at him, damn it. Because Vince McMahon loves Randy Orton. He loves looking at him. He loves his tattoos. He loves his tights. He loves his little RKO name. Out of anywhere. Ooh, God, boom. It's like Vince McMahon just goes home and just thinks about it all night long.
I get it.
Not the young stallions.
Okay, well, if we can stay in the present here, go for a little bit. Okay.
That's the same thing. It's like they're the same bodies.
Yeah, well. If he loved the young stallions so much, why didn't he give them a run with the belt? But I digress. Randy Orton is not the future of the company. He's the past. 15 years ago. God, you're killing me. Randy Orton.
I'm enjoying the shit out of this. I just wanted to let you know.
There's no reason on earth to give Randy Orton another title shot, and it was their third straight pay-per-view match that they had, and Drew McIntyre had already beaten him twice clean. So why did he get that? I lost Mark. Anyway, you're not going to get any viewership back. You were already losing. You've already lost 1 million to 2 million viewers alone because of this pandemic. Why on earth would you think putting the belt on Randy Orton would get any viewers back? Keep the belt on Drew McIntyre, the same guy that beat Brock Lesnar in 5 minutes, and then Big Show that same day. Why is he all of a sudden losing to a guy that doesn't need a belt to get him over? We were just talking about guys that don't need a belt because they've already established their legacy and their legend and their status in the company. You've already beaten Randy Orton twice on pay-per-views, so you've established that beating Randy Orton is a big deal, thus making Drew McIntyre a big deal. Give him someone else to work with, a Bobby Lashley, or if you want to promote Shelton Benjamin again, as a guy who was trained by Brock Lesnar, who helped train Brock Lesnar. Give him the push and a title shot, a la Kofi Kingston. And then when Drew goes over him, again, it's a big deal. You keep the belt on Drew until the crowd comes back. Okay? Then, when he has a venue, because if anyone was robbed of their WrestleMania moment or the pandemic, it was Drew McIntyre. So why not keep it on him to establish a long reigning 6-8 month championship reign? If you can give CM Punk a year, you can't give Drew McIntyre 8 months.
Craig, I was just making fun of the WWE. Honestly, I couldn't agree with you more. Drew McIntyre was like the feel good story of the whole pandemic. Like, here's a guy that like they blew they put all the money into, and then they blew it, and then turns out they were right in the end. You know what I'm saying? Here's a guy that is as charismatic, is as awesome in the ring as they thought he would be. It just took him a lap around the world to get there. And now here he is. He's awesome. And then not only do you have him destroy Randy Orton, like you said, he destroyed Brock Lesnar. The thing that you love, Vince McMahon loves the most. They let him destroy him. And then you waste him to Randy Orton. To do what? And once again, huge. I'm a Bray Wyatt guy, and I love the idea of Bray Wyatt beating Randy Orton. But like, that's not what's going to happen. I know that's not what's going to happen because I'm a realist, and I know they're going to bury Drew and they're going to bury Bray underneath Randy Orton again. Do you agree with me?
I hope not. I don't want them to bury Drew.
So do I.
Yeah. But Drew and Bray should be, if that's what your two main guys that are young enough still to carry the company, if those are going to be your two guys going forward, then again, what do we need from Randy Orton for? I honestly, God, don't know why. Okay, we know he can still go, and he looks great. He's always looked great. Randy Orton looks the same now as he did 15 years ago. Absolutely nothing about him has changed. His work in the ring has not dipped at all. He's still great on the mic. He's still a great heel. He's a great performer. He checks all the boxes, which is why, and just like Drew McIntyre was, just like Orton was the chosen one, so was Drew McIntyre. He's got the size, the look, the athleticism on the mic, but he's what you need he's the champion you need when you have a crowd back. Because if you see any Drew McIntyre's matches with the crowd that you heard way back at the Royal Rumble, imagine if you had any of those when you have those crowds come back. Drew McIntyre needs those crowds.
Oh,
with the belt.
can I tell you my most terrifying theory, Craig?
Please.
Because I know you're not. You see, you're saying the things that I want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got the Roman Reigns with the world title.
Yeah.
And the Usos aren't beating him. That WrestleMania is setting up for The Rock to come back and win the world championship again. Is that terrifying to you?
It's not terrifying at all for The Rock to come back, because any way, shape, or form you can get The Rock back, especially if this coincides with the crowds coming back, then yes, by all means do it.
Rock, yes. Randy Orton, why are you doing this to me? Yeah,
I don't know why there has to be a Randy Orton belt run again. It's not like they're out of options. I said the same thing 5 years ago. When he won it then, it wasn't necessary then, because he buried Bray Wyatt at the height of his run. When you saw how he had a sold out stadium of people with their lighters, coming into the Fireflies.
I know.
So there you have it. So no, I don't. I obviously that's the plan going forward to bring Rock back. I don't think he should go over Roman Reigns at all. I think if anything, that would solidify Reigns. You're building superstars now. You need to build for the present. I understand bringing Rock back. Bringing Rock back is going to get you viewers, money, attention, mainstream media, all that stuff. So anytime you get a chance to bring the biggest box office movie star in the world back to your brand, take it. I don't care if it's Rock just doing 2 minutes on the mic, and even if it's against Roman Reigns, great. That storyline's built in. But Rock shouldn't go over. And if he does, again, for what purpose? It's the same thing with Randy Orton. Why are you putting the belt on Rock?
I just want you to be consistent with that. That's all. I understand. Yeah. At least you understand the draw point.
Oh yeah.
Different than the Randy Orton draw point, but I think they're trying to capture the same lightning in a bottle. That's not the same lightning in a bottle. If that makes any sense to you.
Oh, it makes perfect sense. Hey, if I was ER back in the day and I could get George Clooney back, yes. Why wouldn't I want George Clooney back on the show? That even though he was the biggest movie star, of course I want him back if he wants to come back. Or any big box office star that wants to come into your company. Sure, why wouldn't you?
I hope I'm not annoying the hell out of you, Craig.
No. If anyone annoys the hell out of me, it's Dan. It's always Dan.
Okay. I feel like I push your buttons a little bit.
I sat here the entire time and let you guys go, and you're going to drag me in like that.
No, Dan, I know I don't push your buttons. You know what buttons I like to push. Craig's new to me. I don't want to offend Craig.
That's okay. No, you'll find out real quick if you offend Craig. You have to try real hard. Craig knows that this is a show and we're having a discussion. Right, cool. If you try this shit in public and be like, listen, I think you're fucking stupid about Chris Jericho, that might be a problem. But this is a little different.
You should definitely tell me one day in public that I'm definitely stupid about Chris Jericho.
No.
I deserve it.
Unless you're Dean Dixon.
No, that dude has to do it publicly on the show.
I like his little balderdash.
Mark, honestly, the only thing that really gets me going about the current product, and it's not even that I would call someone stupid for liking something that I don't like or anything like that. It was actually the last time I really got into it with another wrestling fan was someone that enjoyed the production matches or the TV
and I totally
Undertaker AJ funeral match. Or the John Cena, Bray Wyatt, Firefly Funhouse of whatever match.
You're just like them.
Yeah, or even the Halloween Havoc stuff. Yeah, that's not wrestling.
As a wrestling fan, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But as watching it from a different if you watched it from outside looking in, it might come across different to you, but once again, me as a wrestling fan, in my heart of hearts, those were weird, stupid botch jobs, and they weren't matches.
Yeah, I don't consider that wrestling. They
hurt the 8-year-old me that watched the Warlord wrestle on Saturday mornings against some jobber named like Bob Silver Bullet Stevenson. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it hurt the 8-year-old me. It hurt the 8-year-old me watching Bruno Sammartino take on Ernie Ladd and fearing for Bruno's life. Yeah, that's what got me when Bruno was counting out of the ring because he was clutching his throat after getting the thumb from Ernie Ladd, and I thought his trachea had been ruptured, and I thought he was never going to speak again. That's what got me. So when I'm watching a Walking Dead episode starring AJ Styles and The Undertaker, I'm like, this is not wrestling. And then they hear the argument was, well, it was entertaining. I could be entertained by a professional wrestling match. That's what entertains me.
It's true.
I don't need 5 different camera angles and constant edits and strobe lighting and stunts and
those shot cuts. Those classic horror movie shot cuts.
And speaking of Randy Orton, Mark, and this is my last point, Dan, on the greatest wrestling match of all time between Edge and Orton, and Edge tore his he tore his Achilles or something.
Pec.
It tore his pec on the second take when he got the RKO off the top rope. They had already done that move. They had to do it again, and he tears his pec. Why are there takes? It's a wrestling match. There's no takes. There's no cuts. There's no edits. Oh, let's try it again with a different lighting. Okay, reposition. All right, focus. Okay, we'll take it from 2 and action. Go. That's not wrestling.
Guys, can we put the sepia tone on this camera first?
Oh. We're going to go with a different filter here. We got to change the light. Okay, everybody hold positions. Hold for 1.
Yeah, we do that in post here.
Yeah, we'll just edit that in post.
That's why we all look so gorgeous after this podcast.
By the way, you'll be happy to know, Craig, that Tully Blanchard was used very well tonight.
Thank you.
It was a little reminiscent of the old Horseman days. It wasn't. He didn't go in there and you'll see. It was manager Tully finally being a heel manager.
Oh, it only took 6 months. Okay.
Delightful.
Okay. Anything else, Dan?
That's wonderful.
No. This is going exactly as I planned, and I love this show. I've always loved this show, but whenever we can make it more lovable, I love it. You love it?
Lovely.
Gritty staring at you behind me, just watching over everybody, and it's a good time. I guess that leaves us for part 2 of the Wrestling Historian. So let's do our outros. Mark Go Thompson, where can people follow you on social media?
We're going with @GoThompson and, of course, @ArmDragPC if you care to see any, whatever stuff.
Wonderful outro.
I make pictures now. I am going to make that one.
I need it.
That I sent you earlier.
I need it.
Would you rather a different? We'll talk about it after the show, but I think I can make you a better picture.
Oh well, if you can make it better, make it.
I was really proud of that one, but
I was very. That's why I wanted it as a banner. Damn it, Mister.
Well, I'm excited about it.
Oh, I'm excited about it too, Mister Lagans. Where can people follow you as I bury the lead?
As long as you don't bury me in the booking, Dan.
No.
You can follow me
in stage bury alive match.
The worst thing ever. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter @CraigLagans, CraigLiggeons.
Follow me on Twitter @DanLaw83, the HIAC Talk Radio. Twitter is @HIAC Talk Radio. It's also at Facebook. It's the same thing. Just type that in. BOCNation.com for the podcast. Unless you're on your smartphone, go to your smartphone app. Podcast app on your smartphone. I knew I wouldn't get through it. Type in VOC Nation Radio Network or go to youtube.com/DanLaw83 for all of our podcasts, the video version. Craig Lagans and Mark Go Thompson. We'll see you for the historian, or we'll see you next week. Good night.